Tonight, a battle brewing between New York's governor and the city's mayor over how to handle the crushing migrant crisis. Governor Kathy Hochul's office issuing a harsh 12-page letter Tuesday night, calling out the city's response and what it says is a failure to use state-offered help. The governor calling into New York One this afternoon, explaining the reasoning behind it.
The point is, we are here to help, and when we identify areas where we think more can be done, that's what we're doing. And the reason for the letter was simply that a judge told us we had to do that.
The letter says the city asked the state for assistance, then refused to use some state-recommended facilities as shelters and did not implement programs in a timely manner. Hochul's office says it's offered to spend $150 billion this fiscal year to help reimburse the city for shelter costs. But the invoices submitted so far barely account for $138 million, adding the city can and should do more to act in a proactive and collaborative manner with the state. Mayor Adams playing down the notion that there's trouble between the two.
So people who depict that letter as a brutal attack against us, that's how people want to see the governor and I fight. That's not going to happen. I like her, she likes me, and the things that we can learn from each other, we are going to do together.
The intra-party sparring comes as the number of migrants in the city tops 100,000 people arriving since last spring.
The city has already spent more than $1.73 billion on this crisis. We'll spend an estimated $5 billion this fiscal year alone. We've been very clear we cannot handle this crisis solely on our own.
The city opening another shelter in Queens this week in the parking lot of a state-run psychiatric hospital, the men's-only facility housing 1,000. Protesters demonstrating against the shelter last week.
All men, 1,000 of them is too much.
While others complain the site is unfit for the migrants.
There is no 24-hour transportation here. There are no subways here. This is inhumane.
Early this month, the city coming under fire for these images. Migrants sleeping on the street outside the historic Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan, converted into a shelter.
Many people died along the way. I made it through, so I guess I can't give up.
Critics blasting the Adams administration, saying they left them in the streets for days as a political tactic, trying to extract more aid from the federal government and discouraging other migrants from coming to the city.
What we've been experiencing for several months now since they opened up the respite sites is inhumane treatment and people that are coming here for help and being blamed for a system that has been in shambles since before the migrants got here.
The city pressed today about accusations that there were shelter beds available for those migrants.
What was appropriate for them, for what they need, that's what we were providing.
So you're saying it was more appropriate to leave them on the side?
I'm saying that we took the appropriate steps.
Despite the admonishing letter from the governor, the city still asking for more help.
There's a couple things that we would love the state to help take a lead on. We've called for a state of emergency at the federal level, so if the state can help expedite that, get that done, we would love that.
But the future's still uncertain for hundreds of migrants in New York, once again caught in the middle of a political face-off.
Valerie Castro joins us now live from New York. And Valerie, I understand New York's Attorney General is now also getting involved in this migrant crisis.
Yeah, Tom, Letitia James is leading a coalition of 19 attorneys general from different states affected by the crisis, asking the Department of Homeland Security to expedite work authorizations for migrants. This would apply to migrants who have lawfully entered the country. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has so far not responded to that request. Tom.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.